We're going to talk about fear and how fear and nerves are holding you back. So if you get nervous before you have to give a speech, this is an episode for you. If you get nervous about flying, episode for you. If you get nervous about making a cold call, this episode and the simple research I'm going to teach you will change your life, your brain, your nervous system forever. And so today, we are flipping the script, and I'm going to teach you how to take control of your life and your brain and your nervous system. This stuff is so freaking cool. Oh my gosh. Hey, it's Mel, and welcome to an incredible episode of the Mel Robbins podcast. So I was talking with my team about the upcoming holidays here in the United States, and we were just kind of talking about what everybody's plans were. And Cameron, who's one of the producers on the show, mentioned that she had this big trip planned. And so I said, well, that's awesome. And she said, yeah, but... And then she said something so relatable. At least it was relatable to me. She said, I'm really excited about the trip, except I'm so nervous about the flight. Now, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about fear and how fear and nerves are holding you back. And I asked Cameron, I said, Cameron, you probably don't want to come on the podcast, but would you come on the podcast and allow me to coach you through your fear of flying? Because one of the things that I want to tell you is that I used to be afraid of flying. And you're going to hear more about that, terrified of flying. And a couple years ago, I learned this really amazing piece of research from Harvard Business School that I have used over and over and over again, not only to conquer my fear of flying, but I use it in any situation where I am nervous. And this simple piece of research is going to help you not only conquer your fears, but is going to teach you how to take control in moments where nerves either stop you or they impact how you perform. So if you get nervous before you have to give a speech, this is an episode for you. If you get nervous about flying, episode for you. If you get nervous about making a cold call, or applying for a big job, or singing in public, or you get nervous before you take a test, this episode and the simple research I'm going to teach you will change your life, your brain, your nervous system forever. And I can tell you that because what I'm about to share with you and teach you and walk Cameron through is not only going to get Cameron on that plane, it is going to get you through any situation that you feel nervous about. It's going to teach you how to take control. This stuff is so freaking cool. And I'm excited about it because I've been teaching this on stages around the world for years. And so I not only know that it works in my life, I not only know that what I'm about to teach you works because of the research, but I have proof. Makuto uses what I'm about to teach you to tame OCD. Lynn, who is a nurse, is no longer nervous about public speaking, and that's changed her career. Emma has used what you're about to learn to stop panic attacks and her fear about leaving the house and going to school. Len used this simple strategy you're about to learn and Cameron's about to learn to nail and land a job during a job interview. Dan conquered his fear of heights. And Marin used what you're about to learn to get 2 promotions. This is a game changer. So get ready. And you're also going to want to share this with your kids, with people that you love, because one of the things that I know is that if you allow yourself to get hijacked by your nerves, that feeling of being nervous will not only stop you, it impacts how you perform on tests. It impacts how you perform at work. And so today, we are flipping the script, and I'm going to teach you how to take control of your life and your brain and your nervous system. This stuff is so freaking cool. Oh my gosh. So before I bring Cameron on, I want you to stop and think. What is something that you're afraid to do? Or what is a situation where you get really, really nervous and it impacts your ability to be a top performer? Like maybe, for example, you've been thinking about taking an improv class, but you get nervous when you go to sign up. Maybe you've been wanting a bigger role at work, but you get nervous when you think about the amount of presenting you're going to have to do. Maybe you have tried to take the MCATs or the LSAT or the bar exam over and over and over again, but you get nervous and you blow it. Or maybe your kids are applying to college and their nerves are getting the best of them. This is a game changer. So I want you to think about that situation, because while I'm going to coach Cameron on her fear of flying, and I'm going to teach her how to use research to take control and to get on that plane and, dare I say, enjoy the flight, this will work for any situation that you get nervous about too. Okay, Cameron, let's talk about what's going on.
Hi.
Hi,
How's
Cameron.
it going?
I'm great. Are you all right? Like, how are you doing?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited to conquer this fear. I'm curious to hear what you have to share.
Okay, so tell me what's going on.
So, I have a pretty exciting trip planned for the holidays. I'm going to Portugal,
And who are you going with?
and I'm going with my mom and my twin brother, and we're meeting my sister who's in London right now, but she'll be traveling there to meet us.
Okay.
I am really excited about this trip. I think it's a place I've always wanted to go, beautiful country. But every time I think about it, instead of actually having that excitement towards the trip, it's this pit of anxiety and fear around, am I even going to get there? Because I have this long flight ahead of me.
Meaning, am I going to get on the plane, or is the plane going to make it to Portugal?
Is the plane going to make it to Portugal?
Gotcha. How many
Yeah.
days from now is this flight?
A couple weeks right before Christmas.
And since this is a couple weeks away,
Mm-hmm.
are you feeling nervous yet?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
Describe what that means for you.
For me, it's just like this impending doom, I guess, like this anticipation of a really traumatizing experience. Not to be dramatic, but like it's this pit in my stomach anytime I start to think about it, just the normal anxiety tendencies come up, like my chest feels heavy, I have that like pit in my stomach, and I don't know, like my mind just goes into a million different directions and none of them are positive. They're all just what ifs, what if this, what if that.
And does it get worse the closer you get to actually having to get on that plane and take that trip?
Yeah. I mean, there's always this element of denial, like I'm not actually going to do it. And then I will eventually be faced with getting on that airplane. And that is kind of when it really clicks of this plane like is not going to make it there. I like need to make sure I tell everyone I love them. Those kind of really irrational feelings come to surface at that point.
So, I want to tell you something. You may not know this about me, but I used to be a nervous flyer. And I used to have the exact same feelings, the pit in my stomach. I would constantly entertain the thought, well, maybe I just won't go. I
Mm-hmm.
used to, when I was flying home to Western Michigan to see my parents for Christmas, I would send the presents ahead because I wanted to make sure that if the plane went down and I died on that flight, that they got the presents. And it would get worse and worse and worse as the date for travel would approach. And I noticed as I became an adult, and I had to book my own tickets, my nervousness would also interfere with my ability to book the ticket because I would look at the flight options and I would feel like I was playing Russian roulette and I had to pick the right plane
Yeah.
because only one of these planes was going to make it. And so I don't know if you feel any of this kind of stuff, but I would delay booking the flights. And the next thing you know, there are no cheap seats and now it's expensive. And so it just, my nervousness for me was more than a pit in my stomach. Does this sound familiar?
Oh yeah. It's almost comical when I share, like, I'm booking these flights and I also have a tab open looking at every safety rating and if there was any experience of this aircraft going down, and I'm like doing this research, like this whole research project, and I'm going in 2 hours away, and it's so strange that people don't have, maybe not strange, I'm jealous of it, but I always just assumed people went through the same thought process as me, that not everyone's panicked about if their flight is gonna make it to their destination.
Well, first of all, I think it's normal to have thoughts about your own mortality when you are in a situation where you're not in control. And so I think that's normal. Second,
Mm-hmm.
I think most people are somewhat nervous about flying. I mean, we are climbing onto a metal tube and we're rocketing 30,000 feet in the air with
Yeah.
a bunch of people we don't know. And
Mm-hmm.
then it starts to bounce around as we are hitting turbulence. And I think most people sit on that plane pretending that they're not terrified. And that those of us that kind of talk about it, we can laugh about it. But, I've always noticed, particularly now that I can afford to fly up front in the plane, the drinks are free. And I've always been struck by the fact that, Cameron, I'd say 95% of the people that are offered a free drink take it at like 8 or 9 in the morning. And I don't think it's because they're alcoholics. I think it's because they're nervous. And so I think most people are busy texting their loved ones before the plane takes off, just in case. And so I
Yeah.
want you to understand the fear of dying is not irrational. The fear of being nervous in a situation where you have no control is not irrational. And so number one, don't make yourself wrong about it because that just makes it worse. Okay. Because you're now not comforting yourself. You're rejecting your own fear. Okay. And when you
Yeah.
reject your fear, the fear gets louder. So when you get on the plane, are you better or are you worse?
I'm definitely worse because it's all those thoughts coming to a head. And like you just said, it's this deep uh, fear of not being in control. I think that's where it all stems from. And I'm definitely not an adrenaline junkie, and I don't really like doing anything crazy that I can't control the outcome. And especially when I'm on an airplane and I don't know who I'm surrounded by, I don't know who's in charge of checking the airplane, like driving, what even is the proper term, flying it. Uh, the lack of control really creeps up on me. And I think that's really where the panic, I don't know, just solidifies and it's a mess from there,
So, how do you
usually.
manage this? Because we all have fears, right? Or we get nervous around something. So, like, you might get nervous walking into the SAT exam. And so then we all have little strategies that we use to try to calm our nerves. Or you might get nervous before you have to present something at work or in school. And so we have little strategies that we use to calm ourselves down. So, you're in the plane, you're buckled up,
Mm-hmm.
you're taking off, you're sitting next to your mother and your brother and the nerves hits. What are the little strategies that you use to try to make yourself literally be okay? Like, can you put us at the scene of a moment when you were on a plane and turbulence hit and like you felt like the spike of nervousness? What did you do?
I wish I had a strategy that I could say I lean into. I would say rejecting that fear is more of the route I take, where I kind of beat myself up for having this fear in general, considering, I don't know, there's just so much more. And I'm sitting here freaked out about an airplane. But I think that's usually step one, is trying to, I don't know, like bring down that fear, be like, it's not even real. Like, what are you fearful about? Like, I think I just reject it, which is not helpful. And then that usually fails. And then from there, it becomes usually crying, kind of like a form of a panic attack. Uh, I can directly remember after I graduated college in 2021, all, all my friends and I, we got on an airplane to Tampa, Florida. Super exciting trip. Like, we had just finished the year riding this high, and everyone on the airplane has, like, their fun hats on. Everyone's like ordering some drinks. We just graduated. And then there's me in the corner, like reaching for a hand, trying to find some comfort in someone, crying in the corner, like trying to do all the things that aren't really helpful, I guess, which is me just being like, Cam, like, calm down. It's fine. You're fine. So that's my coping mechanism.
So does telling yourself you're fine work?
No, it doesn't ever work.
Does making yourself wrong work when you're nervous?
No,
Does
it
telling
doesn't.
yourself to calm down ever work when you're nervous?
No.
Yeah,
No.
and let me tell you why. Because you can be two things at once. You can be terrified and you can find the courage to face it. You can
Mm-hmm.
be nervous about getting on a plane, and you
Mm-hmm.
can also get on that plane and coach yourself through the feelings of nerves. And when you invalidate yourself for very real fears,
Yeah.
and it's not the fear of crashing, it's the fear of dying. When you invalidate very real fears, you make the fear bigger. And so, first things first, Cameron, I want you to understand it is okay to have this fear. It's normal to be a nervous flyer. And that can be true. And you can use simple strategies backed by science to take control in a situation when you're normally nervous or afraid. And that's what I want to teach you to do. Because I believe that this is a problem in your life because it's holding you back from doing things that you would like to do with your life.
Yeah.
If you were not nervous about flying, what are some of the things that you would do in life?
If I conquered my fear of flying, I think it would also have like this trickle down effect on a lot of things that I have held myself back from, and just even like making it part of my personality that I'm not adventurous. Like, I pride myself on that because I really don't like the risk of not feeling in control. So, in terms of flying, like, I'm so young and I want to be able to say that I've seen more than I have. I think everyone can probably agree on that, even if you aren't young. Um, and yeah, like you said, just even booking a ticket myself, I'm like, yeah, that, like, we'll do that next year. I'll go see that place next year. And yeah, it makes me sad to think that not only am I holding myself back from seeing places I really want to see, but going deeper than that, when I'm on the ground, letting that fear of, not being in control, not knowing everything, kind of hold me back from taking risks in my everyday life.
Yeah. And I want to point something else out. So you are probably 5 weeks away from this incredible trip happening with your mom and your brother and your sister. going to a place
Yeah.
that you really want to go to with people that you love. And for the
Mm-hmm.
next 5 weeks, your nerves and your fear are going to impact how you feel for the next 5 weeks. It's not
Yeah.
just about being nervous when you fly, it's the anticipation and the fact that it's also going to make the next 5 weeks awful. Because you're going to be in your body feeling nervous, anticipating this flight. Your mind is going to be going wild about the worst case scenario. And so the real reason why it is important for all of us to recognize moments when we get nervous and moments when fear starts to escalate and to nip it in the bud and take control is not only so that you can get on the plane, it's so that you
Mm-hmm.
don't let it ruin the next 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And so there's also something bigger, and I want to just connect the dots because I think it'll be meaningful for everybody listening. Your father recently died suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
Did your fear of flying and this fear of losing control get worse after he died?
Yeah, 100%. I think any event that tests your control or basically throws it out the window, because I think I spent my whole life kind of latching onto that feeling, and then to have it completely ripped away from me in the matter of moments, it felt like, then now approaching events that I have no control over, it kind of brings back this feeling of like, wow, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have control over anything, which is true about life, which struggle I struggle a lot with coming to that, I don't know, conclusion or even accepting that. That acceptance is really difficult. I think that I'm not going to be able to control everything in my life. If it's a bad flight or if it's the death of a family member, I can't control any of it. So,
Yeah. See, I think that's the bigger breakthrough for you. And it's the bigger breakthrough that we all need. That in order to enjoy your life and in order to experience all the things that you're meant to experience, learning how to be in those moments where you're nervous or you're afraid and flipping it so that you can step into possibilities, so you can experience all of the incredible things that your life has to offer, like an amazing trip to Portugal. And to be able to
yeah.
do that, Cameron, and enjoy the 5 weeks leading up to it, and to be able to get on that plane and enjoy the time with your mom and your brother and be filled with thoughts of excitement about seeing your sister, and then to be able to be in Portugal and enjoy the time there and not be consumed with thoughts about the fact that you're going to have to fly back to Boston. Say, I knew that you did that because that's what I used to do. What would that be like for you?
I mean, it would be really important. It's something that, I mean, this is why I'm so open to this conversation. And like you said, those 5 weeks leading up to it, already I feel that anxiety. And I think during the trip, I definitely don't want that really precious time I have with my family to be tainted by the fact that I'm sitting with anxiety about something I can't control, which is my flight home.
Yep. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You can control it. You can't control what the plane does, but you can control what it's like to be in your body and your head while you're on that plane. And you can control how? I'm going to teach you
Yeah,
how.
how?
I'm going to teach you how. Because I used to
Okay.
be, here was Mel Robbins' old strategy. You ready for nervous flyer, Mel? Like, circa 1990s, early 2000s. So first of all, when I woke up, and we're just going to talk day of because I don't want to. I could spend 5 hours telling you all the stupid stuff I would do leading up to getting to the airport, and the way that I played roulette with which airline I would pick, and what seat I needed to be in, and all that kind of stuff. And so, if it were a beautiful day when I woke up on the day that I flew, I would have a 50% decrease in nerves compared to a day where it was cloudy, raining, or snowing. If we got bad weather, windy, wind shears, birds flying, we're in danger zone and the nervousness spikes. The closer we're getting to the airport, Cameron, I'm starting to lose my sense of taste. I'm starting to get dry mouth. I'm starting to get sweaty palms. I get to the airport and I am literally the nicest person you've ever met in your entire life. I am like sugar on a donut with every single airport employee because I figure that if I have good karma, God is watching and that that will help me. I then, go through baggage claim. I get to the gate very early. And when I get to the gate, Cameron, I am looking across the gate area, and I'm looking for 3 particular types of passengers. The passengers I'm looking for in my gate area, I'm looking for somebody, a man or a woman in uniform, right? So we want somebody in the military on the plane. I'm looking for somebody in a wheelchair. I'm looking for somebody with a baby. And boy, if we have a priest, a nun, a monk, anybody that is, of religious nature, boom, I'm feeling better. The nervousness has gone down a little bit because I can say to myself, if these folks are getting on my plane, God is not going to let this plane go down. Then that gets me on the plane. I get on the plane. I take a look to the left as we're boarding. I want to see a crew cut. I want to see a crew cut on one of the pilots because I want Air Force or Navy kind of cut. If I know that I can see military up front on one of those pilots, I can take another deep breath, so I'm ratcheting it down. Then I get in my seat and I start firing off the text to everybody that I know and love in case this sucker goes down, and that's when the hyperventilating starts. I basically am starting to go from nervousness to anxiety and toward panic as the plane is now taking off. As we're taking off, I'm holding my breath, right? And I'm trying not to defecate in my jeans. And then the plane does that thing after it takes off where it's like, it goes, and then all of a sudden, where it goes to level off and it makes that weird sound. It's like, and it sounds like it's going to fall out of the air. That's where I lose my shit. I literally start panic texting Chris. I grab the hand of the stranger next to me. I start hyperventilating. That's where all bets are off. And I'm basically in a freaked out state. The poor person next to me is going, oh my God, how did I get seated next to this freak? And I'm slowly trying to calm myself down. And I'm basically in that state until either the seatbelt sign goes off or the beverage cart comes out. Because I figure once the captain has told us the seatbelt sign is off or the beverage cart is out in the aisle, we're good. They would not release the seatbelts or release the beverage cart, right? If we weren't good. So that's how I used to deal with flying. That's what my life was. And then one day something very cruel happened. I was on a plane. It was a beautiful day. I was traveling with my family. Very short flight. That's another bonus when it comes to being nervous. If it's a short flight, a new plane, we're really good. Beautiful day. Got all those. We took off with my family hanging out, and the beverage cart was in the aisle. The seatbelt signs were off, and the plane hit an air pocket. And it all of a sudden dropped. And then the airbags dropped out. And I literally had a freaking heart attack. And you know what's interesting is I had spent so much time in my life panicking, Cameron, that when the you-know-what hit the fan, there was no panic left. Everybody else on the plane panicked. I was like, oh, this is how this ends? I actually got kind of mad. And luckily, nothing happened. I mean, the captain just came on and was like, we just hit an air pocket. Everything's fine. We're going to just go a little lower. We don't need to wear the oxygen mask. So, of course, then like complete idiots, everybody starts taking photos of themselves with the oxygen masks. And we land safely. But here's the problem with that. All of the little superstitious bargaining stuff. Oh, if it's a good plane. Oh, if the beverage cart. Oh, if there's a crew cut. Oh, if this happens, then I'm safe.
Mhm.
I had all those things and something happened. And so it was in that moment that I was like, I have to figure out how to change this because I want to fly a lot. I want to see the world. I don't want to spend 5 weeks before a test or a big, athletic meet or a flight I have to take or some presentation that's important racked with nerves. I don't want to sabotage my own potential. I don't want to torture myself with all these stupid fears. And that's basically
Mhm.
what you and I are doing when we allow the nerves, which are normal. It is normal to be nervous. What I'm here to teach you, Cameron, is you don't have to let those nerves control your life or stop you from doing what you want to do with your life. We can flip the script on your own brain and your own nervous system. And we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, I'm going to walk you step by step by step through how you do it. And I'm going to teach you this based on research from Harvard Business School. All right. So, Cameron, I'm really excited. I'm going to teach you how to create and use what I call a confidence anchor, not only when you're about to fly and you're nervous, but for any single situation where you're nervous to do something. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Awesome. It's super cool. And for you listening, I want you to just hold that situation that you're nervous about. So maybe you're nervous to give a presentation at work, or maybe you have a son or a daughter who is getting recruited for a sport, and now there's all these big team matches coming up, and they're starting to get nervous. This confidence anchor is exactly what you need. So, step number one is you're going to think about this situation that makes you nervous, okay? And we've already talked about that, Cameron. It's this flight to Portugal. Step number two is come up with something about this situation that actually makes you excited. So, describe for me, Cameron, what are you excited to do when you get to Portugal?
I think the thing that I'm most excited for is to see my sister. I haven't seen her in a couple months. She's been in London. So I don't know. When I think about Portugal, there's a lot of things I'm excited for, but probably the biggest thing is just to spend time with her.
I love it.
And yeah.
That's perfect. Okay, great. So, you now have something related to the situation that makes you nervous that you're actually excited about, okay? Now,
Mm-hmm.
number three is the most important part. Number three is now that you have something that you're excited about, I want you to close your eyes and we're going to bring it to life. I want you to imagine the moment that you lay eyes on your sister for the first time in several months. And I'm imagining, are you imagining the airport or a cobblestone street? Like, what is the scene? Describe with your eyes closed. What is she wearing? What happens? Describe it for us.
Well, first of all, she's probably, I don't know, she's probably mad that we're late about something. But uh, when I think about it, we're, yeah, we're in probably like Lisbon where we're going to land, and probably right outside, the first glance of a new city, something that is always really exciting when you leave an airport. I think that's the best part about flying, is getting to somewhere you're, anticipating seeing. Um, so I picture that. I picture her standing there, probably like in some black sweater, because that's usually what she's wearing. And yeah, I think seeing her face reacting to my mom, me, and my brother, that's going to be like the best part, because I know she, even if she won't admit it, she does miss us a lot. So
Awesome. And who is she going to hug first?
100% my mom.
Okay, awesome. And how
I'll probably be
amazing.
last.
Okay. And as you stand there and watch her in her black sweater with Lisbon in the background hugging your mom, what are you
Uh-huh.
feeling?
Like a sense of comfort, a sense of wholeness, and yeah, just a really good feeling to have us all together during like a really hard time of the year. It's gonna be really special.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's your confidence anchor. That moment that you just described in detail, the black sweater, Lisbon in the background, her reaction as she sees you, her hugging your mother first, the wholeness, the comfort, all of that that you just felt in your body, that is your confidence anchor. Now, here's how you're going to use it. From now until that moment happens, the millisecond that you feel any nerves or any fear or any negative thought come up related to this thought, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
close your eyes. You can use my 5-second rule to interrupt the worries. Just count backwards with me. 5, 4,
4,
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Yep. That is a starting ritual that will signal to your brain that you're not going to think about a plane crash. You are starting to think about something else. And then you are going to bring to the forefront of your mind that image, that feeling that you just described. And that is how you drop a confidence anchor on these bullshit nerves and worries that have been hijacking your life. That's what a confidence anchor is. You're using your own excitement about something that normally makes you nervous to shatter the grip that fear and nerves has on your body and your mind. That's what you're going to do. And when you head to the airport on the way to the plane, you are going to use this same confidence anchor. And when you get on that plane and your thoughts go, uh-oh, you're going to go, nope, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you're going to drop that confidence anchor. And when you take off in the middle of the night and the pilot says, we might experience a little bit of turbulence, because pilots often say that, you're going to drop that confidence anchor. And you're going to come back over and over and over again to this image of your sister and the black sweater and Lisbon behind her and her hugging your mother. That's exactly what you're going to do. And you're going to be shocked, because this is a technique that they studied at Harvard Business School called reframing performance anxiety, was the name of the study. Reframing performance anxiety. And it's a way to flip moments that make you nervous into moments that make you excited, and to keep control of your mind, body, and spirit so that your fears don't hijack and torture you.
Wow.
What do you think?
I mean, it makes sense, because I think in the moments of panic, the last thing I'm doing is thinking about anything that brings me happiness. It's always the darkest feelings, the heaviest emotions, versus, even just closing my eyes just now. I feel so different, like sitting here. I feel like even thinking about that moment makes me happy. And I'm excited to use it, because I know I'm going to be anxious all next week, week after.
So you want to know why this works?
I do. Seems
Okay.
too good to be true, honestly. It seems too good to be true.
Well, the reason why it works is because it taps into your body's automatic systems. If you look into the neuroscience on this, scientists call this an autonomic response, that basically your nervous system has a autonomic response to stressful situations. Okay, that, like, if you're a normal person like me, you just say, oh yeah, if we're in a stressful situation, we automatically feel all kinds of things, right? And so what I want you to understand is that, when we're in situations that make us nervous, everybody, whether you're giving a speech or you're going into an interview or you're on a first date or you're running a track meet or you're getting on a plane or you're breaking up with somebody or you're going in for a job interview, it is going to be automatic that your nerves take over, because you're about to do something that makes you stressed out a little bit. It's requiring you to feel, it makes you feel a little bit vulnerable. But here's the cool thing. Even though you have this automatic response, because you're right, there's no way over the next 5 weeks you're not going to feel anxious, because that's the autonomic response that your body has to this stressful thing. But here's the cool thing, Cameron, you can control this. So here's the secret. The secret is understanding that your body's reactions to fear, so your automatic reaction to a fearful situation, is the exact same as your body's automatic response to an exciting situation. And we're going to use this truth that your body's automatic reaction to fear is the same as your body's automatic reaction to excitement to your advantage. So tell me about a situation that makes you excited, like just something like in your day-to-day life, okay? Give me a situation that makes you excited.
In my day-to-day life, that makes me excited.
Well, how about this? Who's your favorite musician?
I really like the Lumineers.
Okay, great. Guess what? The Lumineers are playing a private concert at the new private venue at the Fenway Park. You, my friend, not only have front row seats, you're going to meet them before the show.
Okay.
It's 5 weeks out. How do you feel?
Jittery a little bit. Like kind of the same feeling I would have if I, was playing a big soccer game or running an important race when I was younger, like the clammy hands, the pit in your stomach.
Yep. Dude, we're walking into this venue. You're walking up to the front row. How you feeling?
My heart's beating fast. I'm like going a million miles an hour. I don't know. Probably feeling like really on edge.
Yeah, the usher is coming up to be like, okay, they're ready to meet you. How you feeling?
I'd be like, okay, like, let me collect myself. Yeah, probably really flustered and I don't know, like a little bit anxious probably. So
it kind of sounds like a situation like that where you're about to meet your favorite band. Which I would say, is that a positive or a negative experience?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I mean, a positive one, obviously.
Well, it sounds very similar to the way that you experience the thought of flying to Portugal.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, you want to know the only difference? When you're in the situation that's positive, that makes you excited, and you're about to meet the Lumineers, your brain is telling you you're excited. Your brain is telling you the jitters in your stomach are butterflies, and that's a good thing. Your brain is telling you your hands are clammy and your heart is racing because something good's about to happen. The only difference between that and what you experience as you think about flying to Portugal is what your brain is saying about the flight. When you start to experience butterflies in your stomach as you are about to board the flight, your brain's going, uh-oh, there's something wrong. This is negative. The plane's going to crash. You're experiencing in your body, Cameron, the exact same physical and physiological symptoms when you meet the Lumineers as when you board a plane. And the only difference is what your brain is saying about it. And so the reason why a confidence anchor works is we are going to shut your negative brain down and drop this confidence anchor right on it like a sledgehammer. And we're going to replace your narrative that something's wrong with, holy shit, I'm about to see my sister. This is so exciting. It's as exciting as meeting the Lumineers. And when your brain starts to say the butterflies are positive, you won't escalate into a panic attack. You will have taken control. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
So do you have any questions about the confidence anchor and how you're going to use it?
It just honestly seems still a little bit too good to be true. Like, I don't know. I can just conquer all my fears just by flipping the way I'm thinking.
There's a scientific reason why this works. So they researched this at Harvard Business School. And what they did is they put people in control groups and put them in situations that made them nervous. So they put one group into a control group where they had to run a track meet. Another one had to sing karaoke. Another one was in like a debating competition. And they taught one group of people to use this reframing tool where you think about something related to the track meet or the debating competition or karaoke that you're excited about. And so this group was taught to say, I'm excited. I'm excited to run this meet. I'm excited to get up there on the stage and conquer my fears. I'm excited to go and debate because I've prepared. The people who use this simple reframing tool outperformed the people who didn't. They felt less nervous, and there's a scientific reason why. Earlier, we talked about the fact that there are these automatic responses that our body has to situations that are exciting or stressful. And in our case, Cameron, we talked about the Lumineers and how that's exciting, meeting the Lumineers, and getting on a plane to Portugal, which used to make you nervous. Just talking about those two situations created an automatic response in your body, didn't it?
Yep.
That automatic response is nothing more than a series of chemicals firing and messages firing between your brain and your nervous system. The reason why you and I get butterflies is because when the brain sends a message down to your nervous system that, holy cow, we got to get on a plane, or holy cow, the Lumineers are about to walk in, your nervous system goes, oh, got it, and immediately starts changing up the chemicals in your body. Adrenaline fires. The blood races to your head and to your heart. That's why your heart starts pounding. That's why your thoughts start to race. Now you get butterflies because the signal in your brain going to your gut just changed the chemicals in your digestive tract. That's why we all get butterflies. That's it. And so in the situation with the Lumineers, you flipped your thoughts. I'm excited to meet them. And so that explains all the reasons why you have all of these changes going on in your body, why your heart is racing, why your butterflies are in your stomach. This automatic response doesn't scare you because you're thinking positive thoughts when it comes to the Lumineers. Now, when you get on the plane and your brain signals to your stomach that something's up and your heart starts to race because the blood goes to your heart, and the butterflies start to flutter in your stomach because the chemical structure just changed in your digestive tract. If you have negative thoughts about the plane, a couple things happen. You start to get scared of the automatic response in your body. And more cortisol starts to flood your brain, which is the stress hormone. And once that happens, what they found at the Harvard Business School study is that the cortisol interferes with your brain's ability to do whatever you had prepared to do. This is why most of us, when we stand on a stage, go blank. It's because we have an automatic response. Our brain goes, oh shit. We get scared of our racing heart because we think it means that the plane's about to crash or we're about to screw something up. The cortisol floods our brain and we forget what we prepared. When the cortisol floods your brain, you forget about seeing your sister. You forget about all the exciting things. You forget about all the research that you did that shows that traveling by commercial airplane is the safest way to travel, period. That's why this matters. And it's more than just thinking positive thoughts. It's critical that you come up with the thing you're excited about before you get into the situation. Because once your thoughts start to race and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to screw up this test, or oh my God, I'm going to screw up this interview, or oh no, the plane, you've already lost control. You have to come up with this exciting anchor and this confidence anchor before you start to get nervous. Got it?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
It just makes so much sense. You know, I always have taken the approach of calm down, Cam, like, you know, kind of making myself to be the bad guy, and not really reframing it in any way, just letting myself kind of soak in all the stress and anxiety, and just kind of reprimand myself, being like, what the heck, you know, why are you not just calming down? Like, there's a 6-year-old that's, you know, bouncing around and it's like, ooh, I love when the plane goes up and down. And it's like, why can't I be like that 6-year-old? But
let me tell you why.
I think
this is excellent, Cameron. Let me tell you why you can't be by that 6-year-old, because I love this analogy. The 6-year-old's brain is not attaching negative thoughts to the plane bouncing up and down. As far as the 6-year-old is concerned, this is exciting. That's why they're not panicking. And so the reason why in the history of telling yourself to calm down, you have never been able to calm down is because you are dealing with an automatic response in your body. So let's go back to the science. When you get into a situation that makes you nervous or that makes you stressed out or makes you afraid or that makes you excited, those are states in your body of high agitation. Those are states of alertness. Those are states when your blood starts pumping and your brain starts paying attention and, everything kind of aligns because you're about to do something that makes you excited or fun or nervous or afraid. And so you go into a state of being hyper alert. That state of high agitation is one that you can't calm down like that. So what we're doing when we teach you to create a confidence anchor and to use excitement to reframe what you're feeling is we're taking a state of high agitation from the negative to a state of high agitation in the positive. We're actually using the automatic response in our body to our advantage, and we're just tricking our brain to believe that we're actually excited because our brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain is like the 6-year-old. Your brain actually doesn't know the difference between excitement and fear. That baby that's bouncing is feeling the heart racing and then the bubbles in her stomach. It's just that your brain is framing it in the negative. Because your brain knows that excitement and that fear feels the same, that meeting the Lumineers and being on an airplane feels the same. You can use that to your advantage and trick your brain in a moment where you would normally be nervous to actually think you're excited. And the reason why this matters, Cameron, is because when you're on that plane, if you can come back over and over and over to your confidence anchor, and if you can close your eyes in a moment of turbulence, and you can imagine your sister, and you can start to say out loud, and this is important, you've got to say to yourself, I'm so excited to see, what's your sister's name?
Sienna.
I am so excited to see Sienna. I'm so excited to see Sienna. I cannot wait for Sienna to hug my mom. I cannot wait for this. If you come back to that confidence anchor, you are going to flip your brain into believing that you're excited about that moment and you will no longer be afraid. And it's a way to gain control. And you know what? You want to know something really cool? Because your confidence anchor is related to what you're doing, it's really believable. Because when you are there hugging your sister, it means the plane made it and there's nothing to be worried about. That's why this works. When you imagine before a test yourself walking out of there going, yes, it actually makes you excited to take it. When you imagine yourself nailing the interview, it makes you excited to walk into it because your brain doesn't know the difference between a state of fear or a state of excitement. And now you know a simple trick backed by research from Harvard to take control of your mind and take control in situations where nerves normally derail you.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that was always like in the back of my head during our conversation was if I feel fear in a lot of different areas of my life, not when I'm just in the air. So when I'm on the ground, how can I use this tool to ground myself, even if I'm not sure the outcome of it?
I love this. Okay, great question. I want you to take out a notebook and you're going to write down any single thing that makes you nervous. Could be anything. I mean, give me a couple.
God. There's a long list probably, but off the top of my head, like something that, I don't know, I really wish that I could beat the fear on is I recently moved, not that far, but there's a really nice yoga studio on my street that I like pass every day. And I just always think like I need to be a part of a community of 20 somethings that are like-minded, that, I've always loved yoga. I've loved the community it brings. But I cannot bring myself to sign up, and I can't bring myself up. Like, I just constantly think about the day I have to show up for my first class, and it makes me way too anxious to even like go.
This is an excellent example. And by the way, incredibly common and very relatable.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you shared it. So you're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to create a confidence anchor. Because what I hear is I hear you want to do it. I hear it pulling you. And the nerves are keeping you back. So name something you're excited about. So like, can you pick like a coffee shop in your neighborhood that you love to go to, and it's going to be your treat to get a nice latte when you're done?
Yep. Do you want me to name it?
Yeah, I do.
It's called Thinking Cup.
I love Thinking Cup. Now, you're going to close your eyes. What color yoga tights are you wearing?
Oh, God. Maybe like, I have this really nice light blue ones that I always like to wear.
I love it. And as a treat, because you went to this relaxing yoga class in your light blue tights, sweatshirt tied around your waist, yoga bag over your shoulder, standing at Thinking Cup, what did you order?
Probably like an iced oat milk latte.
Love it. Love it. How do you feel?
Yeah.
As you're walking out of the Thinking Cup, having just completed that class and treating yourself to that, how do you feel right now?
Like proud of myself for doing it.
Awesome. There's your confidence anchor. Anytime you feel nervous, you're going to count backwards 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to interrupt the nerves and create that starting ritual. And you're going to drop that confidence anchor. And what's going to happen is it's going to slowly retrain your mind that you're not nervous about joining that yoga studio. You're actually excited. And when you start to practice this confidence anchor, at some point you're going to find yourself walking down the street and there's the studio. And as that wave, because remember, it's automatic, that automatic response comes up because you're about to do something new. You get to choose whether your brain says no or yes. And using the confidence anchor and this research from Harvard and the 5-second rule, you can flip that moment from one of stress to one that's something awesome, because you have the power to make your brain say, yes, I'm excited to do that. And I'm going to walk in today and I'm going to sign up for that relaxing yoga class. And I am going to imagine how great I'm going to feel in my hot, amazing light blue yoga tights as I sip that oat milk latte and walk out of Thinking Cup as my reward for getting it done. And that, my friend, is how you use science to conquer your fears and create the life that you love. And I have a feeling, Cameron, and I have a feeling for you listening to us too, that this little technique is not only going to help you tee up and knock off one thing after another that you're afraid to do or nervous to do, whether it's jumping on a plane or walking into a yoga studio or asking somebody out or working on your side hustle. I think what it's actually going to do is not only get you in action, I think it's going to help you reprogram your mind, because I don't think you realize, Cameron, how much feeling on edge and nervous is a default for you, and how much it's actually holding you back and robbing you of the happiness you deserve. Any final thoughts that you want to say?
I feel really thankful and also excited to use this. I think you summarized it perfectly. Like, I think we're all probably victim of living in this nervous state, and it makes me sad to feel like I'm not present in the things that matter, which is going to be being present with my family in Portugal, or being present in a yoga class. And those are really important things. And so definitely like kind of, I feel energized. Like I want to take back that control or try to like, just embrace that a little bit.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah.
You know what I am? I'm fucking excited for you. Because I not only see you opening new doors in your life, I see you kicking them down and marching through them.
Yeah, I'll send you a video on the plane.
Oh, I can't wait.
You can share the stories.
All right, we will. We will. We're rooting for you, Cameron. I'm really excited for you. And thank you for being willing to come on and have this conversation, because I know it's going to impact the lives of just millions of people. I know it.
Of course.
And you're going to have an amazing time in Portugal. And I cannot wait to hear about the yoga class, young lady. All right. And for you listening, thank you for being here. I want to tell you that I love you. I believe in you, and I believe in your ability to face these things that make you nervous and flip it into a situation that makes you excited and proud. All right. Now take these tools and go create a better life. I'll see you in a few days. Hey, it's Mel. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed that video, by God, please subscribe, because I don't want you to miss a thing. Thank you so much for being here. We've got so much amazing stuff coming. Thank you so much for sending this stuff to your friends and your family. I love you. We create these videos for you, so make sure you subscribe. Mwah.